I didn't realize that I actually built friendships and I built sustainable relationships beforehand. And I would have just walked away from all of this if I just jumped. Shout out to a random subscriber, Mike I86. Thank you for watching and enjoy the show. So in 2011, I got married and packed up my things, moved away to Azores in Portugal. And this island was just phenomenal. Full of green, full of trees, full of energy. Now, the funny thing is, it seems like on this island, anyone who comes there has three different outcomes. Either you get married, you have a kid, or you get a divorce. Sometimes all three. So I moved to this island, and it seemed to be going pretty well. My wife at the time, she'd already been on this island, so she wanted for me to experience with her when the rainy season would end, and that she could show me around and we could have a great time and she could appreciate that with me. So I kind of hung back and I got a simple, fun job that I worked for a kennel and I just took care of some animals. So I'm starting to get to know this place and it really is fun. The food is amazing. The scenery is phenomenal. Everything that you could ever want is on this island except home. So between the two of us, we agreed that certain things would be done, changed with ourselves, like she loved to cook, so I gave her the freedom to cook anything that she wanted to. I wouldn't necessarily do the dinner meals. And some cleaning around the house, I would have a housekeeper take care of instead of me actually doing it, since the island is full of moisture and the likelihood of black mold being there is quite extreme. So these little things I changed or we changed, and later on down the road, she decided that she wanted to go to a friend's house and have a sleepover. Now, this girlfriend, she lived about 5-minute drive away from the house, and the island is an island, so it's probably not going to be all that big of a deal anyway. So I agreed, and I wanted her to have a good time and to appreciate being with her friends. That same night, I had a weird feeling, and the next morning didn't feel any better. She came home and she said, "Hey, you remember that girl that you know in the States? Um, you say that she has a very low self-esteem, and how about you go home and sleep with her and then tell me about it, because that will help raise her self-esteem. You will be able to take care of yourself, and I'm actually into that sort of thing." I thought this was extremely strange because I'm just not comfortable with that. I said, "I'm not willing to share you, so I'm not willing to go along with this myself." She said, "No, no, it's purely for you, and this way you can have yourself taken care of." Again, I said, "No, I'm not willing to share you, so I shouldn't expect me to share myself with someone else." So fast forward 10 days, I finally took the drive to say to myself, she is in fact cheating on me. And then I confronted her. So I said, "I think you're cheating on me." She responded with, "That's not what's happening, but we need a divorce now that we're fighting." I'm totally baffled by this because this is the first time we fought about anything ever. So response was, "Hey, let's just go to counseling. Let's start there." She agreed. And during the counseling session, she said, "You changed this about yourself, and this about yourself, and this about yourself, and that's not the person that I married. I married someone else." And my thought is, those are just actions. That's not a belief or a way of life. And those are so simple. Also, we agreed on them, but I'm not going to mention that. I'm just going to take note of all the things that are important to her, and I'll change that about myself. So we had another arrangement set for an additional session, but during this time frame, I took care of the house. I would clean, I would cook, I would do everything that I would have done before, but we agreed that I would take care of, I would have someone else take care of these things. She came back to the house and I, I prepped her a meal. It wasn't great because I didn't know the stove all that well and I ended up burning the chicken, but I guess I'd rather have overcooked chicken than undercooked chicken. Anyway, so she said, I know that you're trying and I know that you're making these changes, but they're not enough. And the thought in my head was they were never the thought to begin with. They were never even important at all. I had some friends over and they came from America. They flew deliberately to see me and to explore the island because, hey, vacation home in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean seems kind of fun. I haven't really explored the island yet because I said that I'd wait, and now I don't know anything about this place. So I took it upon myself to find a way. I went to where I accidentally met a friend of mine who was going to pick his car up from the night before where he left it. He decided to drive me around the island to show me a tour because he's already been there for a while and he has a really good understanding. I'm not going to say no because I love being around people, so why the heck not? So he's driving me around from place to place. We're seeing the beaches, we're seeing all the great places to shop at, the wonderful food establishments, everything of just natural beauty and anything that the island has to offer. The strange thing is, I also get a text message that says, hey, I just happened to be at a Chinese shop. That's pretty common on this island. I just happened to be at a Chinese shop with my friend, his coworker, and the guy who's driving you around the island. The four of us are checking out these Chinese shops. What are you doing? I clearly, obviously knew this was a total lie because the guy's literally driving me around the island. I'm in his car. I can't make this up. So, another fun lie to add to the list. Now, I'm trying really hard to bite my tongue and trying to make sure that I'm being a kind person and making sure that whatever is said is honest. Now, a different day, I drive myself around the island to make sure that I can see all the things myself instead of having to depend on someone else to drive me there. And I drive up to this place with beautiful cliffs where you look out and all you see is the ocean and, if I remember right, the other island. And if you look around, all you see are farmers' fields filled with animals, livestock, plants. And then you look ahead of you and down, and all you see is the ocean about 70 feet below with rocks, water crashing into it hard. The thought came through my head, I wonder if anyone will miss me. If I jump right now, I don't have to worry about my problems anymore, and no one else has to worry about those problems too. In retrospect, I think that that's not the right way to think. However, the thought was still in my head, and the good thing is the thought just kind of stayed there and didn't turn into an action. So I snapped out of it, and I said, well, that really wouldn't be fun if my friend showed up and they are now trying to plan my funeral and they are trying to find a way through this island that they have absolutely no plan aside of waiting for me to pick them up at the airport. That was step one. So I snap out of it and I decide to continue along my journey. Fast forward a week, pick them up from the airport. They tell me all the fun things that they want to do, and I give them a really good description of what's going to go on. They say, well, we want to climb Mount Pico. I think that's a great idea. It's totally awesome. Climb a volcano in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It sounds just unbelievable. I make $10 an hour, so I'm not really thinking about what I should spend my money on because when I come back to the States, I have a house that I'm waiting for tenants to move out of, And I have no job when I get home. So I got nothing. No place to live, no way to pay for it, and nowhere to go aside of a car. That's it. So I said, yeah, absolutely. I will show you anything that you want to see. I'll give you any experiences you want, and I'll set you up with a travel agency to make sure that you can get to Pico Island so that you can climb Mount Pico, because I don't want you to be left out. They say, no, no, you're coming with us because you know this part of the world better than any of us, and you speak Portuguese. The funny thing is, the same guy's fiance, uh, she speaks fluent Spanish. Anyway, so they tell me, you're coming with us. Anywhere that we want to go on this island, you drive us around and you give us a place to stay. In exchange for that, we will pay for all of the food and any other excursions that we want to see that's not on this island. So I book a flight so we can fly from Terceira to Fayal, and we can take a ferry from Fayal to Pico. And we show up on this absolutely beautiful, amazing island and end up with our tour guide. I'm going to call her Mountain Goat because she could just swiftly go up this mountain with absolutely no issue. She was just incredible. No holds barred, and she was waiting on us. Like, it was straight up watching a husky run in front of you with absolutely no leash on, and you can't keep up at all. You have no chance. She was patient with us, knowing that we are not experienced climbers. So we go up this amazing scene, climbing higher and higher, and we can see the clouds above us. And we continue to go, and sure enough, we are now above the clouds. This amazing, breathtaking view. At the same time, I'm getting text messages from my wife at the time, and it's not a great conversation. My head was thinking about being on the other island, knowing that I'm in this absolutely gorgeous, beautiful place with some of the best people that I've ever known. Something that I can probably not repeat for a very long time. And I'm worried about what's going on in my head on a completely different island. So we take our views, appreciate everything, make sure we come home with plenty of pictures and souvenirs. I'm still focused on where I'm going to live. So, of all this going on, my friends tell me, when you get home, you can live with us until you get a job, until your renters move out, and when they move out, you can have your house back. I didn't realize that I actually built friendships and I built sustainable relationships beforehand. And I would have just walked away from all of this if I just jumped. Now, if we continue to fast forward, I'm now living in the States and I'm trying to get my belongings. These belongings are currently legally held by my wife at the time. At this moment, should be my ex-wife. And she says, no, they're your things. You take care of it. I told her that I would gladly do it if she gives me power of attorney and she would then sign it over to me. She's like, no, no, I'm not going to do that. That's too much. You take care of it. I told her, well, if you sign it over to me, then you don't need to get a power of attorney. At which point she's like, no, no, it's your stuff. You figure it out. I'm now at a loss because I'm stuck between this, and the only other option is to involve the courts, but I'm very passive and I don't like to fight with people. So if we continue on, now it's been about 6 months since I moved from Portugal back to America, and I sent her an email. Now in this email, it basically said, I will never contact you again. I will not harass you. I won't stalk you. But I want to let you know what's been going on for the last year of my life. At this time, we're living in Portugal, and on these times, we agreed to certain stipulations. And at this time, I wanted to help you out because the situation you were in with your job hindered you, so I took money out of my account to put it into your account to make sure that you were taken care of. And I haven't gotten that back, and it's not about the money, it's about the principle of saying that you will give the money back. On this day, you went to your friend's house. This day, you told me this, and some other days further on. But I want you to know that none of those things matter. The only thing that's going to stick in my mind forever is the day that I met you in Dallas-Fort Worth Airport in Texas. You were standing behind a door that could not be opened. This was how you were standing. This was the look on your face. This was how your hair was. These were your earrings. This was your dress. This was the necklace. These were your shoes. Because nothing else matters. So I ended the email with, don't worry, this is the last time that I'll talk to you. I don't want anything else. I just wanted to let you know how I'm feeling and where I'm at. Have a nice day. Have a nice life. It took a little while for her to get back to me, but she said, I've been in the bathroom crying for the last 2 or 3 hours. You were right about everything. I lied about this, and I lied about that, and I lied about the other thing. I am truly sorry. The worst mistake I ever made was to let you get on that airplane and watch you fly away. So I told her that I forgave her. I forgave her for me, and I forgave her for her too, but I forgave her for me because I did not want to restrict myself. I wanted to make sure that no matter what, I would continue to be able to go on. Like, if I let her have that power that she doesn't even know she has, she would then have the freedom to control me without even knowing she's controlling me. Probably wouldn't even remember that I exist. And I am holding on to all of this misery and discomfort and pain. She said, I just contacted the office that's holding your things. The storage garage will get a hold of you and set up an arrangement for pickup so you can have everything delivered. All of your clothing, all of your furniture, everything that's in storage is yours. Just set up a time for pickup. Thank you. It wasn't about the stuff. I didn't care. I've already replaced virtually everything. It was that I honestly wanted to let go, and I wanted to free myself of that pain, discomfort, negativity, anger. I wanted to let go and be able to move on. And I try to remember that moment whenever I have some other discomfort or disagreement or anything that's going on in my life. Chances are it's not that bad, and I can overcome it. And anytime I have an extremely negative thought, similar to one jumping off a cliff, I remind myself that tomorrow's another day to make it better, and I can overcome it. If I overcame it before, I can overcome it again. Now, if I overcame it, so can you. Talk to somebody. Have a great day.